audio input. They can hear you.
That's that. Sheriff, can you
That's
just
the
kind of-
commission.
She's gonna do a test. You want it? How about I hand you?
Test.
Bill.
That's not going to change. That's not going to
So
change.
that is on?
I think he's just a video.
Yeah.
One, we are live.
All right. We call the meeting to order. This is the meeting of the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission. It is December 17th at 5 p.m. We call it the visit to order. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to take things a little bit out of order on the agenda. There is unfortunately a special recognition and a resolution we want to enter into the record. Before we begin our business today, the Civil Service Commission wishes to recognize the tragedy that has profoundly touched this community and our sheriff's office. As we all know, the day before Thanksgiving, 2 National Guard members, Specialist Sarah Beckstrom of the 863rd Military Police Company and Staff Sergeant Andy Wolf of the 167th Airlift Wing were shot in Washington, D.C. We mourn the loss of Specialist Beckstrom, who passed away on Thanksgiving Day. We honor her service, and we hold her family, her unit, and all who serve with her in our prayers. Staff Sergeant Andy Wolf, a member of the 167th Airlift Wing located here in our hometown, continues with his courageous journey of healing. He's the son of Sergeant Jason Wolf of the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office. Sergeant Wolf is a valued member of this county's law enforcement community, and we stand with him and his family during this difficult time. At this time, I ask for a moment of silence in memory of Specialist Beckstrom and in support of Sergeant Wolf. We have a resolution we'd like to enter into the record on behalf of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and Staff Sergeant Wolf. Mr. Alterman, would you read the sympathy, please?
I will. We have the resolution, and it reads as follows. Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission Resolution of Sympathy and Support. Whereas members of the United States military and National Guard faithfully serve our nation and communities with courage, dedication, and sacrifice. And whereas on the day before Thanksgiving 2025, 2 members of the National Guard, Specialist Sarah Beckstrom of the 863rd Military Police Company and Staff Sergeant Andy Wolf of the 167th Airlift Wing were tragically shot in Washington, D.C. And whereas Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, a proud member of the 163rd Military Police Company, succumbed to her injuries on Thanksgiving Day, and Staff Sergeant Andy Wolf was in critical condition and now on his valiant and courageous journey of healing. And whereas Staff Sergeant Wolf is the son of Sergeant Jason Wolf of the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, a respected, dedicated, and long-serving member of our law enforcement community. And whereas this tragic event has brought deep sorrow to the families of both service members, to the West Virginia National Guard, to the 167th Airlift Wing based here in our hometown, and to the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office. Now, Therefore, be it resolved that the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission extends its heartfelt sympathy to the family of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and honors her service and sacrifice. And be it further resolved that the commission expresses its unwavering support, prayers, and hope for healing for Staff Sergeant Andy Wolf, as well as for strength and comfort for his father, Sergeant Jason Wolf, and the entire Wolf family, and be it further resolved that this resolution be entered into the minutes of this meeting, and that a copy be provided to Sergeant Wolf as a gesture of solidarity, compassion, and respect. There's your resolution, sir.
Thank you, sir. This time, we have another recognition to make. The commission would like to recognize Commissioner Stephen D. Dobson. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Did you want to just go ahead and act on this one first?
Motion.
Oh, you want a motion? I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's okay.
Yep.
I make a motion, Mr. President, that we adopt the resolution of sympathy and support.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
There we go.
there we go. It's already been signed. All right, now we're going to recognize the fact that the Commissioner Stephen D. Dobson is attending his final meeting as a commissioner. We also wish to recognize his wife, Miss Julie Dobson, for her support and understanding throughout Commissioner Dobson's tenure. I will turn the floor over to Mr. Altoona, who's going to read the certificates into the record.
Sir, could we ask Ms. Dobson to come up and join her husband up here?
Would you please?
Would she mind?
Probably, but she'll do
I
it.
know. What we have at this time is the certificate of recognition, and first they'll read it for Steve. Presented to Stephen D. Dobson to commemorate and recognize his dedicated service, commitment, and contributions to the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission during his tenure, February 10th, 2022 through February 2025. This certificate, through his tenure through December 31, 2025. This certificate is proudly presented to Steve Dobson, in recognition, it's been that day, of his outstanding commitment, leadership, and unwavering integrity during his tenure as commissioner. Steve selflessly served the citizens of Berkeley County and the deputies of Berkeley County Sheriff's Office with distinction. Steve's service included a successful term as president of the Civil Service Commission from February 2024 through February 2025, during which he demonstrated exceptional leadership, professionalism, and sound judgment. More than simply a member of the commission, Steve was an active and driving force in improving the effectiveness and fairness of the commission. He spearheaded and orchestrated a comprehensive overhaul and rewrite of the commission's rules and regulations, a project requiring countless hours of thoughtful evaluation, collaboration, and attention to detail. His leadership guided the committee to produce a first-class modernized set of rules and regulations formally adopted on June 18, 2025, the first major update since September of 2021. Appointed as a representative of the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff's Association, Steve carried out this responsibility with honor. While entrusted to represent the association, he conducted himself with remarkable impartiality, always prioritizing fairness, transparency, and integrity to the process. His balanced perspective and professionalism earned the trust and respect of his fellow commissioners, deputies, and county leadership. Steve's dedication, work ethic, and personal character have left a lasting positive impact on the commission. His thoughtful guidance, calm demeanor, and willingness to engage in difficult and meaningful discussions evaluated the commission's work and strengthened the promotional and hiring process for years to come. His service amplifies the highest ideals of public duty. With deepest gratitude and respect, the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission, given this 17th day of December 2025, signed Dale Buck, President of the Commission.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And at this time, I will read, we have a certificate of recognition for Julie as well.
I'm sorry.
And it reads, Berkeley County Civil Service Commission Certificate of Recognition presented to Julie Dobson to recognize the support, understanding, and steadfast encouragement throughout Steve's service to the Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission during his tenure, February 10th, 2022 through December 31, 2025. In recognition of the support, encouragement, and personal sacrifices you generously made throughout Steve's service to the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission, your unwavering support allowed him to serve the citizens of Berkeley County and the deputies of Berkeley County Sheriff's Office with commitment, integrity, and distinction. Your understanding, patience, and strength were essential during Steve's successful term as president of the Civil Service Commission from February 2024 through February 2025, and throughout the extensive effort required to modernize the Commission's rules and regulations, formally adopted on June 18th, 2025. Although many of your contributions took place quietly and behind the scenes, the positive impact you made was meaningful and far-reaching. Your encouragement helped enable improvements in fairness, effectiveness, and professionalism that will benefit the Commission for years to come. With heartfelt appreciation, the Commission gratefully acknowledges you for the important role you played in supporting Steve's dedicated public service and strengthening the mission of the Commission. With deepest gratitude and respect, Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff Civil Service Commission, given this 17th day of December 2025, signed Dale Buck, President of the Civil Service Commission.
Good. And if you get tired, you don't want anything nice, you want to
I
send it
send it back.
back. Yeah,
I was gonna say, leave all my hair.
There's nothing.
Sir, if I would make a recommendation, we take a break and allow the family to come down front, we'll get a
certainly.
picture with all of them.
Surely.
One.
All right, back on the record, we've now got to move on to the reading and approval of the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes from the November 19th meeting?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any corrections or deletions?
No, sir.
I move we accept the minutes as presented.
I will
I
second.
second the motion.
All right, second. And we all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Budget update, next item on the agenda, number 4, budget update informational. Mr. Alderson.
Okay, you gentlemen have, before you, the actual financial report that was run as of the Tuesday, December 16th at 10:09 a.m. And the report is as follows. For postage, basically the entire report, there's no change from last month. Postage, there's no change. Last month's obligation rate was 4.7%. This month it is also 4.7, reflecting the amount of $1,429.37. The advertisement and publication line, there is no change from last month. Again, that obligation rate was 16.5, and this month also 16.5. Next month, we should see a change due to invoices from the Journal coming in the amount of $503 for a one-time ad run. And we should also see an invoice coming from Local IQ in the amount of $750. That relates to the digital advertisement that's been taking place for the month of December. The training and education line item, as I've said previously, it's zeroed out. It will be zeroed out the remainder of this fiscal year. Professional services, there's no change from last month to this month. The obligation rate then was 0.0%. This month it's 0.0%, reflecting the amount of $10,000. The available budget remains at $20,201.62, which is an obligation rate used of 8.2%. Gentlemen, that is your budget report for this month.
Any discussions?
No, sir.
All right, next item on the agenda, old business, 2025-26, request for new open hire physical agility and written examination, August 23rd, 25.
Okay, since providing the sheriff's office with 4 names last month, 2 applicants, a Trenton Long, offered via email to withdraw his name, and that was done on 11/21/2025. An applicant, Colby Welch, submitted via email his intent to withdraw his application from consideration, and that was submitted on 11/30/2025 from further consideration. This leaves 2 applicants currently on the list going through the hiring process, an applicant Brady Hemp and an applicant Timothy Everhart. They're still under consideration for hiring. It's my understanding they're waiting on meetings with the doctor and to get their physicals done and things like that. There continues, and I emphasize that word continues, to be issues with apparently Valley Health and scheduling doctor's appointment and obtaining test results. I know it's got to be heartache for the sheriff's office because of those. They could get people hired and on the road sooner. So at the present time, there are no further updates that I know of.
Any discussion of that item? Issue 2025-44, request for new open hire physical agility written examination, Ray Chief Young's letter dated October 20th, 2025, as well as an update on online applications, Ray January 10th, 2026.
Okay. Currently, we have 6 applicants listed as new, awaiting decisions by the commission. 3 of them are going to be discussed later on this evening. 3 of them, we are waiting to get information back on. Commissioner Wilson we've sent out questions for follow-up for those, for 3 of those. There's 4 applicants listed as accepted. We're waiting on an applicant statement form from them. I know I have sent out 3 reminders and quite possibly a 4th reminder and haven't got anything back. I'm thinking they're not going to.
Yeah.
So at the present time, if the test was going to be given this coming Saturday, we have 47 applicants eligible to show up and do the physical agility test. 47. I'm pleased with that. Lot of hard work, a lot of sharing of social media posts and things like that by members of the department. Matt Umstead with the county, he's posted. I mean, it's gotten visibility. Currently, there's 8 rejections / disqualifications, and Commissioner Wilson will go over those in a little bit. And we've had 5 withdrawals. And one of those withdrawals was an internal test about the withdrawal. So it's technically it would only be 4 withdrawals that we were sending at. We've had a total of 70 applications submitted. So
Good.
That's where we stand with that. And I know Commissioner Wilson will cover the rest under a different item number,
Yes.
issue number.
Understood. Any further discussion of that? Issue 2025-45, the budget for 26-27.
Okay, Mr. Tony Petrucci, County Clerk for Berkeley County, has submitted his 2026 through 2027 annual budget, of which the civil service budget is a part of. He has been scheduled to formally present the budget to the county commissioners at their weekly meeting on Thursday, January 29th of 2026. That's the only update I have at this time relating to that budget.
Issue 2025-47, 2025 annual report for 2025 to December 2025.
Currently been gathering and organizing thoughts to incorporate into the 2025 report. Did receive Commissioner Wilson's bio this week, and I've already got it incorporated into the beginnings of a draft report. I'd like to remind you folks and Commissioner Dobson, even though you're going off, you've been here with us all through 2025. If there's anything you gentlemen want in the report, please do not hesitate to send me your ideas as well. We will,
Would you like to edit Scotty's bio?
let's see. The drafting process for the report will commence in January and will be completed no later than March 31st of 2026. As a reminder, upon completion, report shall be submitted to the county court, the county commissioners for presentation, and a copy will go to the sheriff of Berkeley County. The report is also to be made available for public inspection 5 days after its submission to the county court and the sheriff. And that's pursuant to West Virginia State Code 714-6. It states that in the state. So that's all I have for the annual
All right,
report.
sir. Any discussion on that issue?
No, sir.
Issue 2025-49, online applicant application review.
Okay. Commissioner Wilson has updated on several applications that raised concerns based upon applicant responses. We started accepting applications for this hiring cycle, October 1, 2025 through December 17th through today. Commissioner Wilson has reviewed 26 applications. Of those applications, 9 applicants were moved forward, 8 were rejected, 3 are being brought before you tonight to discuss as the full commission. We had 2 withdrawals. One of the applicants was reviewed related to veteran point preference, and 3 are pending with a suspense date of December 26th to get Commissioner Wilson more information. So I know it's his intent was to provide the commission with an overview of the application review process and the challenges he's encountered. By reviewing questionable applications at this stage, time and resources for the CID are being conserved. The commission is potentially avoiding the need for public hearings when several issues clearly constitute automatic disqualifiers under the commission rules and regulations. At this time, I think Commissioner Wilson would like to address.
As Mr. Alton said, the whole purpose of this was for us to be able to streamline the process and move it forward a lot quicker. What we're doing now is we take these applications, we look at them, and if there's any of them that we feel there's questions in reference to our rules and regs, then we do an inquiry to see where we stand on those. In this case here, like you said, we've done a review of 26 different applications since we started this process in October. Tonight, we're going to go over a few. We had already discussed some back on 5 November, but tonight we're going to go over and finish them up. So currently, we have 3 we're going to review, talk about that we haven't made a decision on. 4 have made the decision to move forward on the applications. 8 were rejected, and we have 3 that are still pending. We're waiting for information to come back from them so we can finish them up. So what I want to do is I'm going to go over the move forward and the reject ones pretty quick. We'll do those first, and then we'll do the 3 reviews where I'd like for the other 2 commissioners to work in with me on this one so we can make a final decision. So if I'm looking here, let me get my notes here. Let's look at the ones moving forward. There were 4 applications in reference to, after I reviewed it, I said we'd move forward. And those were applicants 13, 17, 20, and 26. On applicant 13, real simple and easy, says, have you been clean and sober from alcohol and any and all illegal substances or scheduled narcotics? And the person responded no, but then on their follow-up, on the application, they put, I drink on occasion. And looking through that, there's nothing to indicate there's any problem there. There's a problem within our rules and regulations. So I just put on that, we move forward with that. There was no reason for us to stop on that one at any point in time. Applicant 17. Applicant 17, it says, have you used marijuana, synthetic or natural within the 12 months prior to this application? And are you previously a certified law enforcement officer? All right, when we went back to that person, they said, I answered that incorrectly. I didn't pay attention. I answered that question incorrectly. This is, have you used marijuana? The actual answer was no. And then as far as being a previously certified law enforcement officer, said, yes, they did graduate from the West Virginia State Police Academy via the Fairmont Academy in 2024. There's no reason for me to question that any further. That'll go to the investigators. If it gets to that stage with you all can make the final determination from there. But again, that person said that they just answered the question wrong. That'll be up to you all to determine at that point in time. I don't find a violation there. So we move forward with that application as well. Applicant number 20. On this one, this person had misdemeanor charges as a juvenile and adult. Okay. The juvenile charges have been expunged. Had we not, or had this applicant not even said anything to us, we would have never done that. All we would know if you check records is there's an expungement. There was a juvenile case. There's nothing there really for us to further consider in reference to that. There were 2 misdemeanor charges against the person, but both, according to the court records, were dismissed. So from our standpoint, there's no reason for us not to continue on with this application. We'll move it forward. Again, that'll fall back to the sheriff and his investigators if they want to delve deeper into that. Then you go to applicant number 26. All right. Applicant 26 did voluntary separation from the West Virginia State Police Cadet Program. It was for personal reasons, but as a result of withdrawing after he'd already started in the academy, he was advised that the academy said that you cannot reapply for 2 years. As I understand that, from what I can find out to this point in time, that's for the cadet program. It has nothing to do with the basic officer program. So the person declared that to us. There's no other problems with the application. We're going to move that forward. That would be between the sheriff and the sheriff's office and I guess the LEPS committee as to whether they would allow them to come back. But the person provided information as to what took place and everything, and it was for personal reasons because it had to do with the birth of child and the hardship and everything. Right after he first got to the academy, he withdrew on his own, and then because he did withdraw after the academy started, they said they wouldn't allow him to come back for 2 years. But again, I don't see where that'll affect his application with the sheriff's office. So we'll move forward with that one as well.
He called me that morning and asked the question, before I go any further in this process, am I going to be able to go back to the academy or am I done for 2 years? I told him that's a sheriff's office question. I gave him Brandy's number and told him to call her, and I followed up with a phone call to Brandy to give her the courtesy heads up. So it was kind of pushed back to you folks.
These next 8 I'm going to go over were ones that I have sent the format said to be rejected. And again, we're not, I look at one and say rejected. I look and see if there is a clear violation of our rules and regulations. And in the letters and stuff that goes into the record and goes along with their applications, it clearly state what it was and what the violation was. So let's start with these. There's 8 of them. Applicant number 9, right? Applicant number 9, it says, have you used marijuana, synthetic or natural, within 12 months prior to this application? That was the question that was asked of them. They had indicated yes, but they didn't give no further information in reference to their answer. We asked for information back to them to see if we could get clarification with it. They never responded back. We gave the person the chance to respond. What I sent was a 15-day suspense on all these when we sent it out, and they never responded in 15 days. So reject the application, we'll move forward. That one there. Applicant number 11. This is within the last 5 years from the date of this application, had a history of bad debt, unaddressed debt or bankruptcy, and went down through and looked at it. We sent out questions to the person. We gave them a suspense date of 16 December. As of this date, they have not responded back to us. So we rejected that one. Applicant number 12. And number 12, there are several things on here. It says, have you associated with convicted felons or with those individuals that are under criminal investigation or indictment? They responded no. However, they went on to provide an explanation in the follow-up and said, this is hard because I'm reading it as they came back by an email. I mean, I don't know what my dad's charges are fully. I'll say no because he's been in jail since I was 11. 1 or actually 2 of my coworkers are previous felons, I believe. Okay. The next question was, have you within the last 5 years from the date of this application had a history of bad debt, unaddressed debt, or bankruptcy? They answered yes. I wouldn't consider it a history of bad debt. I have a thing on my credit from when I was 18. It was for the gym. I went literally one time, forgot. I canceled a membership. And a year later, all of a sudden, I have a huge bill from the delinquency.
Same,
Pardon me?
same. I've done that too.
Have you ever sold drugs for profit or
New
taken
block
part
list.
in an illegal enterprise such as carrying drugs for sale by a friend, family, or providing transportation for a friend or family for the purpose of acquiring or distribution or any illegal substance for sale? They answered yes. They said, explain. When I was 17 to 16 years old, so that wouldn't have been 2020. I had bought weed from a brother and his friend or girlfriend I was with at the time and sold it to her. I no longer buy weed myself or sell any since I was in high school. This was one of those, it was like every time you turn around, there was something here, there was different things there. So in my conclusion, it said, based upon the applicant's answers under felons, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1F. Based on the applicant's answers under bad debt, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1J. And based upon the applicant's answers under sold drugs, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1F. Based upon 3 different portions of our rules and regulations that they're in violation of, the applicant's responses are clear violations of the Berkeley County Deputy Sheriff's Civil Service Commission rules and regulations adopted 18 June 2025, as stated in above paragraph 6. As such, I'm recommending the application for this individual be rejected. The next one was applicant number 14. Applicant number 14, it says, have you used marijuana, synthetic or natural, within 12 months prior to this application? The applicant answered, yes. I requested additional information, and then the applicant responded back on the 18th of November. It says, to answer the questions, it was synthetic marijuana, specifically a pen. I have taken one hit of it a few times last year. It's not a consistent habit for me and no longer applies to me anymore. It's been a handful of months at least since I hit one. I answered no previously because my application kept messing up like I previously mentioned. When I went to correct the answer to the question asking about being clean and sober from alcohol and illegal substances, that was answered wrong. I was rushing to redo it and misread the question about marijuana. This time, I learned from my mistake and made sure to read everything thoroughly without missing a question and take my time to do so. I want to be open and honest about it and to clarify all the above information. Please let me know if additional information is needed. Based upon the person's own admission, I said the applicant's answers to the official application, the following conclusion was made under marijuana. Based on the answers, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1D, where it stipulates for a period of at least 12 months prior to the application, the applicant cannot have used marijuana, synthetic or natural. And based upon that, I recommended that the application be rejected. Applicant number 16. Applicant 16, there were several questions. It says, are you prevented from lawfully becoming employed in this country because of a visa or immigration status? Have you been dismissed from public service for delinquency or misconduct? And have you been clean and sober from alcohol and any and all illegal substances or scheduled narcotics? Are you prevented from lawfully becoming employed? They answered yes, but they did not provide any response. Okay. And then under, have you been dismissed from public service for delinquency or misconduct? They responded no, but they went on to say that they had worked for an employer, several employers, 3 of them, NRADC, I'm not quite sure who that was. They were forced to resign due to falling asleep on duty. Then they worked for Loomis Armored. They were fired due to a vehicle accident on duty. Then they worked for the Eastern Regional Jail, and they were forced to resign due to falsifying a head count. My conclusions on that were dismissal from public service based on the applicant's answers under employment. The application is in violation of rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4.1G, and under the alcohol and illegal substances and narcotics. Based upon the applicant's answers under clean and sober, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1C. It's my recommendation that the application be rejected. The next one would be applicant 19. Applicant 19 is not a rejection, it's a denial. This person was requesting to claim veterans preference, but the person had just joined the military and has, I don't know if it was a Guard Reserve, I can't remember that now, but had just joined at the time hasn't even been to any training or anything. They don't have a DD Form 214 where they've attended anything under Title 10 status. They are not entitled by state law to veterans preference. So we notified the person that their application would move forward, but they were denied the veterans preference. The next one is applicant 23. Applicant 23, have you used marijuana, synthetic or natural, within 12 months? They had put on their application. They answered yes, so I went back to them and asked to clarify and get some more information. I'll just read this to you as it is. Thank you for applying for the position. I'm reaching out to you on behalf of Commissioner Wilson. You answered yes to have you used marijuana within the last 12 months. But please provide answers to the questions. So here are my questions. There were 4 of them. Time frame when you last used any form of marijuana, as well as the extent of usage, number of times. And he answered, 1 joint about 2 months ago. Was this for medical purposes or recreation? Recreation. How often did you use it? Every day or every other day? How much did you use? Probably about 5 joints a week. I'd stopped because I can't do anything I want to do with it in my system, so it had to go. Based upon that, based upon the applicant's answers under the marijuana statute, the applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations as stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1D. And based on that, the recommended action was to reject the application. And then the last one under rejection is applicant 24. Applicant 24 had made answers to, have you been clean and sober from alcohol and any and all illegal substances or scheduled narcotics? Have you ever sold drugs for profit or taken part in an illegal enterprise such as carrying drugs for sale by a friend, family, or transporting for a friend or family, or for the purpose of acquiring or distribution of any illegal substance for sale? All right, under the clean and sober, they responded no, but they went on to say, I currently drink occasionally. Well, that's not a violation. There was nothing else to indicate, so there didn't appear to be any problem at that point in time with that one, at least as far as moving the application forward. When we get down to the point and says, have you ever sold drugs for profit or taken part in an illegal enterprise? The applicant responded yes. And when asked to explain, their answer was, I used to buy marijuana for my mom and my dad. Okay, so we'd asked for quite a few questions in reference to the sale of the drugs. The applicant responded on the 16th of December, actually, yesterday. And it says, here are the questions. What have you not been clean and sober from? Alcohol, illegal substances, or both? Just alcohol. How much did you use and how frequently? A couple of beers 2 or 3 times a week. When was the last time you used or consumed? 2 days ago. So then we went on down to the drug portion and said, what type of drugs did you purchase? Marijuana. How old were you when you purchased the drugs? Early 30s. The applicant is currently 35 years of age. So that's been fairly recently. Did you use any of the drugs you purchased? Sometimes. Did you use your own money for the purchases? Sometimes mine, sometimes my mom and dad's. Did you receive any money or compensation for the drugs you purchased? No. And how long did you do this? Only a few times. My conclusion is based upon the applicant's answers for the sold drugs. The applicant is in violation of the rules and regulations stated in Article 2, Section 4, Paragraph 1F. And based upon that, my recommendation was to reject the application. So those are the rejections that have been sent out. So that brings us down to 3 applications. The last 3 applications, applicant number 3. Applicant number 3 submitted their application, and upon review on 29 October, reached out to the person and asked the following question. On the application, there's a question. Have you ever sold drugs for profit or taken part in an illegal enterprise such as carrying drugs for sale by a friend, family, or providing transportation for a friend or family for the purpose of acquiring or distribution of any illegal substance or sale? And they answered Yes. And their follow-up answer to that was, I was young and got caught up in the wrong crowd. I asked 3 more questions. And then the applicant responded on the 29th of October. I asked, I'd like to see any documentation that they have on the matter. Did you ever go before the courts related to sale or distribution charges? And if you don't have any documentation, please provide more specific information other than stating you were young. The answer was, this was between 2009 and 2010 when I was 15 to 16 years old. I had a rough childhood and made a bad decision to make a few deals in order to make extra money to help my mom pay bills. I was never arrested, never had any court dates or documentation. As stated, it was only a few deals and not something permanent. That's what we have on that applicant. The applicant stating that they've never been arrested. The applicant stating it was while they were under the age of 18. So I say to the two of you, is this something, do we feel that that's a clear violation of the rules? It truthfully is a violation because they were juvenile and there was no arrest made. Do you want to move forward with the application or do you want to reject it?
From what I've seen of this applicant and his responses, I think it is a violation. However, I think 15 to 16 years old, when he's now in his 30s, I would move it forward. It's up to the criminal investigation.
I'd agree with that.
I concur with that. If there was an adult like the one I just read a while ago and they said they did it in their early 30s and they're 35 years old right now, that's a little different, but this is juvenile. Not knowing that, I think this would be one I would move forward and let the criminal investigators delve into this a lot deeper. And you may find something that you say, well, no, this is not a viable applicant. But at this point in time, I don't see no reason not to move forward.
I don't think we should stop. I think we should let it go forward.
But then, Mr. President, I'll make a motion that under applicant inquiry of 2025-003, that we move forward with this application to the sheriff's office.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay.
Okay. Right over here.
That was 003, right?
Mhm.
003.
Yeah, that was 003. Okay, so the next applicant is 015. And on this application, it says, the question was, have you within the last 5 years of the date of this application had a history of bad debt, unaddressed debt, or bankruptcy? All right.
Thank you.
Mhm. They answered yes. And then the follow-up question is, if yes, please explain. Their response was minor credit card debt that I've been working to resolve caused by separation from marriage. I sent additional questions and said, what is the amount of the debt? What is the current status of the debt? Is it past dues? Is it in collections? Is it charge off? Are you taking steps to address this debt or pay off the debt? And if so, what steps are you taking? The applicant responded back to us on the 18th of November. Says, I hope this email finds you well. Apologies if I didn't provide enough information in the questionnaire. The debt unfortunately came from a separation with my ex-wife. I essentially allowed her to keep everything we acquired over a 10-year period and had to reestablish everything on my own. My total debt as of right now, and this would have been November the 18th, is just below $6,000, which is significantly less than what it was 2 years ago. I do have 2 items that are in collections. I have been working with a credit repair specialist to resolve these issues. It has taken some time, but it is moving in the right direction. I hope this won't exclude me. However, I do understand the standard that you must maintain. The applicant hasn't provided any documentation or anything to that, but that's the information we got from that person. So it is a violation. Is this something that we feel is something we need to stop at this point, or should we move this on to the sheriff's office and let them take and go further?
I don't recall the exact language of the rules and regs, but as I,
There's a history of bad
history
debt.
of debt.
Yes.
And
Unaddressed
unaddressed.
Unaddressed debt.
This is apparently being addressed. I think $6,000 debt doesn't scare me when I know what some people are doing.
It says, will not examine or certify any applicant that has a history of bad debt, unaddressed debt, or bankruptcy for a period of the last 5 years.
There's no bankruptcy.
No bankruptcy. And
My interpretation of a history would be a prolonged period
Yeah,
of time.
yeah.
or
Of not addressing-
multiple accounts. And in this one here,
I mean, I would say on the face of the application, since we're at the application process or point, I don't think we should reject it. So
I make a motion, we move forward.
I'll second.
I agree.
All in favor?
Aye.
Who did the second?
Dale did.
Dale did the
I
second.
think, yeah.
I made them. No, you made the motion. I made the second.
That's what
I
I
don't
thought. Thank you.
I don't really remember. Check the videotape.
All right, and the last application is applicant number 018.
Yeah.
018 says, are you a previously or currently certified law enforcement officer and have you been dismissed from public service for delinquency or misconduct? Okay. The question was, have you been dismissed from public service for delinquency or misconduct? And the response was, I was suspended, then terminated from my prior law enforcement position for initially driving on a suspended license, which I was unaware of, and also for violating department policy. I went through and the person, I asked additional questions. What was the suspension termination for? Was it for only operating a motor vehicle on a suspended license? How old was the suspension? And when were you terminated? The applicant responded back. I'll read this to you. It's a little bit lengthy, but let me read it to you. I provided answers to the questions below. Answers to question 1. The suspension was initially for driving with a suspended license. It then turned to a termination after I was illegally written a traffic ticket by my department who never showed up to traffic court. The policy that I violated was driving my unmarked cruiser while on sick leave and working secondary employment while on sick leave. According to Maryland MVA, the suspension came after a fee wasn't paid after renewing my license. Suspension was a year, however, I was unaware. I was terminated on 10/8/25 at the Mount Rainier Police Department. And then at the Mount Rainier Police Department, we began to face hostile work environment and retaliation after our FOP collectively agreed to endorse other candidate and push a vote of no confidence against the city manager. He goes on to talk about the environment that he worked in, and it wasn't conducive to where he was there. He goes down through it and says that when it came time for the hearing, that's when they decided to terminate him, even though according to the Maryland State Disciplinary Matrix, these were not terminatable offenses. He requested appeal, but it got drug out, and finally he just accepted what they had and said, I'm done, and moved on. So that's what he was terminated for. Primarily, going by what he says, it was terminated for not only driving on a suspended license, but driving on a suspended license, driving a marked cruiser while on sick leave, and working secondary employment while on sick leave.
I'll make a motion, we reject. Okay,
Second.
18. Is that 18? Or is that?
That was number 18, yes.
Yep.
There's a motion, there's a second. All in favor of rejecting? Say
Aye.
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 Okay, that takes us through. So the only thing we have left, there are 3 applicants, 21, 22, and 25, that we have sent out information to, asking for a little bit more information back from them. 21 and 22 have until the 26th of December to respond. 25 has until the 30th of December to respond. Other than that, we have pulled the list up. And did you all want to see this? Okay, like I say, I'll give you the list if you want to see what it is. But that's what we have. I think it's working very good. It took me a little bit to get caught up. I apologize. When I got sick there for a little bit, I got behind on things, but we're down to the point now where we only have 3. And we're moving through with it real good. I'll give you my list, that's fine. Yep. We're moving through this pretty good. And again, all we're doing is we're looking at this system and saying, is there a clear violation to not move the application forward? To save you all time. And I think we've done a good job with that so
Yes, sir.
far. So
Thank you for your work.
And if Commissioner Wilson is writing up a report, basically. Applicant inquiry, such and such number, purpose, authority, concerns, inquiries, copy emails into it, and what have you. The intention is for the sheriff's office. Commissioner Wilson will sign these, and then I will scan it into the electronic application for the person. And then when you all get the names, you'll have this information in the person's application. So I think it's a heck of a job.
That way we're transparent on everything we're doing.
Yeah,
That's all I have on that.
I think Mr. Wilson deserves some thanks for that.
Well, most definitely.
It took us a little bit, but we're getting there.
Double your salary.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I will say he's become quite the pen pal.
Oh, yeah. My emails are ringing every day.
All right. Issue 2025-50, eligible names versus eligible list process for providing the sheriff of Berkeley County names.
Okay, sir, if you'll remember from last month, Chief Young had transmitted an email to the commission regarding correspondence between Sheriff Blair and Mr. John Tier, the legal counsel for the West Virginia State Sheriff's Association. At this time, the commission indicated its desire to allow additional time to review the correspondence and compare it with contents of applicable state code, and for further discussion to include possibly contacting Mr. Tier directly for personal consultation. So that's where you are with this one.
Okay. Well, for myself, I did not contact Mr. Tier. I've been beating this around, trying to make some decisions about what I think should be, and I'm anxious to hear some discussion about it.
Glare on the whiteboard.
Turn it around so the record
I'm
can
afraid
reflect.
that's probably not gonna make it better if it's turned toward me or you.
You really having a good time, aren't you? Okay, when we talked last month, and you talked with Mr. Tier, and they had a process, and we bumped it around some, talked about it, and wasn't 100% on board with what Mr. Tier and them are doing, but the things that you're doing, I think there's a feasible way for us to apply what they have to try to speed our process up. So, here's what I'm recommending, okay? In this application process, right now currently it is, we give the test, get the list of eligibles, and then from that, according to the statute, we submit you 3 names, and you have let's say you have 6 vacancies. Okay, we submit you 3 names, you select from that. Person you select for 1 vacancy, we give you another name, so you now have 3 names, you go to the next vacancy. And that's what the statute says, you have to do that process for each available vacancy. Mr. Tier, the group that they're working with, they have told us through you, the information was that they kind of sit down as a group and try to do things all at one time and move forward. In looking at the statute, I think we have to be very careful that we don't violate the statute by not doing the 3 things and for the 3 names, because the intent of that statute, I believe, is to make sure that it's fair, that we're not looking at, you get 30 names, say, well, I want number 30, so I'm just gonna pass over back to number 30. So here's what I'm proposing. The list of eligibles comes out, we've got a list of names on there, and maybe there's 30 names on there, and it's all listed according to the scores, okay? So we're gonna go ahead, or I say excuse me, the commission's gonna go ahead and give you the top 3 names, so you can start your process. All right. On the day that we give the test, we're recommending that you pass out, which I think you're already doing, pass out your packet for information for your backups. We would recommend that you would go ahead and give them a short suspense date to turn around and get it back to you. That way you have all the packets. You can start working on them right away. We'll give you the 3 names when the list comes in, and when those three names go to you, you can start with that you're just starting to note your packets and stuff like that. You get, let's say, maybe 10 backgrounds done. And let's say you have 5 vacancies, okay? If you want, petition the commission and say you'd like to sit down and talk with the commission about the list of eligibles. Come in and you can take those first 3 names. Take those first 3 names and say, I want out of 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Let's say you want to select for 2. Okay. No problem. We look at it. We don't see no issues. We approve it. Now we're going to give you another name. So you got 1, 3, and number 4, because we're moving on to the next position. If we do this in this setting right here like this, if you've done these backgrounds and you're ready, you can look at us and say, well, I want number 1. Okay. We'll review it. If the commission approves it, we'll say, okay, now we got 3, 4, and we give you a new name, 5. Okay? You got another vacancy. You've done the backgrounds already. You know who you would like in that one there. Let's say you decide you want number 4. We can come down here. Now, we're at this point where we skipped over 3, 1, 2, 3 times. By the statute, we can remove that person from the list of eligibles. There's no hearing or anything required. So now we're going to give you 5, we're going to give you 6 and 7. And we can do all that sitting right here on the same night. That would speed that process up a little bit. So how far we go in this will depend on how far you all have completed your background checks when you petition the commission to have this meeting. You know, if you've done 5, then we'll see what we got. If you've done 15, we can go through it like that. But we have to do each one separately because the statute says that. So there's no pre-selection and there's no, you know, nobody can accuse us of giving preference to any particular candidate. So we'll follow the statute with that. In this particular incident, the other thing we just want to make sure everybody's aware, like this number 3, we passed him over 3 times. The statute says, pass over 3 times, they get removed from the list. No hearing or anything required. If you all come before the commission, either in person or by letter, and say, I want a person removed, we now, by statute, have to grant them a hearing. Or
But we have to notify them and they have the right to a hearing.
they have a right to, that's right. If they ask it, then we have to grant them a hearing, which slows the process. We all know that minimum is 10 days if everything goes fast. More likely, probably 3 weeks is going to delay the process. We can't move forward until we resolve that issue. But if we're just passing over, then this process, we could set in here that night. And we could get quite a ways depending on how far you've done with the background.
To be fair to Mr. Tier, this is, from my recollection, my conversation with him, which was a follow-up email, this is similar to what he described to me as far as doing the 3, and he even mentioned if you pass over 3 times, the person would be removed. So I don't know how the email, I didn't bring it with me, but
The thing that struck me about the emails, it looked as though we're giving you like 6 at a time. We're not.
yeah, right. I don't think, I mean, maybe that's just a miscommunications on that, but I don't think that was his intent, but it was very similar to this. And this, I do think this would be a way to speed things along, and especially when we have, I believe, 6 vacancies right now. You know, I would look forward, hopefully in January, when this new process, at least give this a try and see how it works. And I want to thank you all for even considering this. And I'll further say, it's, you know, with Commissioner Dobson leaving, it's my experience with everyone that's been on this board, commission, you've been over backwards to help us, and I appreciate that, and look forward to trying this out. So,
Yeah, I think everybody wants to help you move forward. It's a question that we want to be careful about how we do it.
and we certainly don't want to try to manipulate anything and try to go, you know, pick, say we had 30 or what. That's no way. We just are finding it just such a slow, with all the physical issues we've had getting those done and a few other things. It's just slowed the process down. If we're going to grow the agency, we have to figure out a way to, I see other sheriff's offices come down and they're graduating 5 or 6 people from the academy, and the most I've been down to, we've had 1. I think this is a way that we could do that.
Sure.
And I look forward to at least trying it out.
At what point do we give them the background questionnaire now?
The background questionnaire is what they handle.
I know, but when do the applicants?
At the written test.
The morning of the written test.
So they
They
do
give it to
get
them
it.
at the written test, and as recommended, go ahead and tell them, you got 7 days to get that packet.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then they have the packets, and they can start working it. And let's say they get 30 packets, maybe 30 take the test.
Mhm.
Okay, if they get the list of eligibles, take the first 10, make sure them 10 packets are done first.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
We
we
would
can
do
go ahead
that.
and start
Yeah.
working this process until you
Yep.
get to that 10.
Yeah.
And by that time, hopefully they got 5 or 6 more done.
Yeah, there's nothing that says when the background has to be done. You don't have to wait for an eligible list.
While we're talking about that, let's talk, the sheriff had commented to me about something we want to discuss and make sure we're on the right track. Okay, they want to petition the Civil Service Commission to do this process. Okay. There are 3 pieces, I'm sorry.
Can I ask one question before we go too far? Sure. It popped up earlier with regards to
State your name for the record.
Thomas Young.
Thank you.
It came up, one of the guys that are in this process usually that are very familiar with the records retention stuff. The applicants, or I'm sorry, the background packets that we get that we would not be utilizing, they did not pass the test. Currently, we don't even get those back because the people bring them into us once we know they actually passed the test. It's not something we have to worry about filing a hard copy of for 5 years. Would we be able to transfer those to you guys? You guys have files on every applicant, and you have to keep those for 10 years, correct?
Electronically. We don't keep hard copies.
Is it something we could transfer to you guys as something we did not use because we do not create files for people we don't hire?
I don't know that we can because it's not our document. It's not, it's a background.
That'd be an HR,
something
probably
popped in
an HR
there.
question as to where it should reside.
This was kind of why I'm kind of
Not a-
hinky on that deadline yet.
On the
Let
deadline,
me put this part in it as far as the background packets. Whenever you decide to take them, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You're the one that's going to either speed the process or delay the process.
Right.
However you want to do it, that, again, that is your purview because the backgrounds are yours. Commission has nothing in that other than that you've done it and we're good to go. So if you want to wait and tell them you call them and tell them bring it in, okay, please don't come back to me and say we're slowing the process down. Okay? And so we'll put it back on you.
I am not speaking those words in this meeting.
Okay, I'm just saying.
But you could,
That's what
you
we
could
want to
delay it though by a week. And Commissioner Wilson thought it was taking 2 to 3 weeks for us to get the test results back. We're getting them back within 1 week. We mail them out on that Saturday of the test. I typically will have them Friday afternoon. Compile the list of passing scores. That's what gets published probably on Monday. You could say the following Monday to those, however many you want to go down, and say, have the background packets to us a week after we publish the list of eligibles.
Yeah, you could theoretically tell them when you give them the packets on the day of the test, say, you should have these completed and ready for us to call you within 1 week.
And have them to us within 24 hours.
You kind of give them a deadline of when you want them to be ready. If you don't want them to turn them in to you until you call them, okay. Don't let them sit there for a week or 2 weeks and not doing anything. Tell them, hey,
Well,
you need to get on it now, get it done, have it ready. We may be calling you in a week till you have that packet. If you don't have your packet ready, we're gonna move forward.
And the only concern could be, your all's requirement is they provide you a credit report within 3 days of turning in their packet. That's in your all's, Back-
credit report had to be more than 30 days old.
Is it?
I think the credit report can't be more than 30 days old.
Can't be more than 30 days old. Okay,
Yep,
That's
must be current within 30
30
days.
days, yeah.
okay.
Okay, so let's talk about one other thing here that the sheriff had expressed a concern about, and doing the backgrounds. We can do the background package and do the background pretty quick. There are 3 other pieces to the total package. Medical exam, psychological exam, polygraph. All 3 are expensive. The 3 combined is somewhere probably around $1,000 per person. It's like $450 for a polygraph, $350 for, is that the physical?
One's
Probably not.
450 now, one's, yeah, so it's approaching 1,000.
About $1,000 a person. What we have been seeing doing with the process has been that they go through all the background. And they're offering employment with the contingency that they pass the physical.
Yeah,
They're making an offer of employment with the contingency, you have to pass the physical. What they'd like to do, because of the amount of money, and they're trying to save on their budget as well, is to say that they would do the same thing, but they're gonna say the offer is contingent on them passing the physical, the psychological, and the polygraph. So they're gonna do the complete background, but then those 3 tests that they pay, they're offered to do that. I don't see there's a problem with that, if they're doing the background, and we've been doing part of that already anyhow. The other thing was about the commission, going to the commission. Well, the commission is not really a problem. I think you and I discussed once before, something like that, but the commission's not an issue because the commission doesn't really approve a person for employment. The commission's job,
Right.
and when I say commission, excuse me, I'm talking about the county commission, they provide the funding. When the sheriff goes to the commission about wanting to hire somebody, what
Yeah.
they're saying is, there's a position there and there's monies available, or we will get you the money. Civil Service Commission that does the final approval and says the person is eligible to be hired.
So
That's
we,
why we always ask for a letter to come back.
when you say condition,
Yeah.
an offer conditioned on those 3 things, does that mean they're working?
No,
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 they get this letter already.
Gotcha.
We're literally taking our process and restructuring the whole process and moving things around.
I
think
think
it's-
that's their call.
I
I
think
mean,
I do too.
we don't approve them until they got
But
those, so.
I got a question though about how it's gonna work. If you've got, we're going through this process, you got a background check, and you're offering employment conditioned upon passing the polygraph, and they fail the polygraph, or you're not satisfied with the results of the polygraph, now you want them off the list.
he's got to send a letter to the commission saying that they failed the polygraph, or
Yeah.
they failed the physical, or they failed the psychological.
Right.
I want them removed from the list. I don't know here.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have to offer them a hearing. If
That
they want
should
it, we
kick
grant
that
it. If they
process
don't, We move forward.
right, and there's no way, I just think
You
it's
can't avoid that. That's the
Yeah.
safeguard for
it's
everybody.
responsible for taxpayer money that we don't waste money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're talking about $1,000 a person.
Right,
And if we got 30 people and they do all 30, there's $30,000 and they may only select 5.
Yeah.
They've lost $25,000.
and I think it'd be north of 1,000 after telling what numbers for what they cost right now. Everything's gone up.
But I agree with what Steve is saying. That's on them. They're doing it.
Yeah.
We're not going to approve it until he finally sends us out letters that they passed it all. We're going to say, yes, it's good to go.
Okay.
Them going to the county commission before that is not a problem, because they need to go ahead and go and say, hey, this is what we want to do. County commission comes back and says, yep, you got the money, yep, you got the position, you can hire them. Okay, so they're just going to finish out the process of doing those things. But this whole thing here, I think, because we're talking about being able to sit down here in the evening and maybe approving 6-10 applicants, depending on how quickly they get the backgrounds in. If Chief Young doesn't slow the process down, we'll get a lot done. Okay? But no, seriously, we
Good luck
move
with
this
that.
process forward very fast and get things moving a lot quicker. So I would recommend, you want me to make it a motion?
You might as well.
Okay. I make a motion that we adopt.
Can you get near a microphone? 'Cause I'm not sure
Yeah.
you're being
Close
picked
enough?
up.
Okay, I'm sorry. I would recommend that we make, or I would make a motion that we adopt the new process for the new hire application, or new hire, geez, how do I say it?
Qualified applicant
Yeah,
or
qualified applicants, listing. Maybe I should hold off on the motion, say, let me write it up.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
Exact steps, policy, procedure. How do you want to do, I mean, I can make the motion and we say it's approved, then I'll write it all up and then we can review it, make sure it's the right steps.
Make the motion and then let him do the addendum like he did.
What, I don't know, do we really need a motion? Or we're not changing anything in our rules?
We're not changing our rules, and we
We're
I
just-
certainly think
We
we're
might
following
be
the
adding
statute.
this to our rules to say this is the
Right.
process that we're going to use. I think we should. add it
I
to
don't
our-
think we have the process in there now.
No, we don't. Well, the process is what the statute says.
Right, but it doesn't say when a background check has to be done. So
No.
if we want to give them,
Deviation.
I guess what I'm,
like, it's a deviation from standard practice, but
Yeah.
it's not a change in our rules. So I think we need a motion, but I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel here to get this through.
I'd like to see it written so we know what we're
Yeah.
voting on. On the other hand, this is coming up on January 10th is the next testing, right?
We'll have the results back by well before the next meeting.
Yeah. I suggest, here's my suggestion. Spell it out as well as you can in a motion. We'll vote on it and then we'll nail it down.
Well, when would so the next, the testing's on the 10th.
10th.
You'd have the results back on the 17th. We meet that week, right?
The
following week?
21st.
Then we might have time.
So
Yeah.
you got time, because you're gonna, on the 17th, you're gonna tell those people they got 7 days to get their background. They're not even gonna have them back to you by the time we have that meeting. By the time you have that meeting. Let me clarify.
you say, you argue about it.
So I think,
And I can get it out, so you can see it and you can go ahead and you can provide.
I can weigh in.
Input everything you
Yep.
got, so we can make sure we have it ready. I'll have it ready for us to make a motion and move forward. So what I'll do is I'll write up the steps and policies and procedures, send it out for your all's review,
Okay, so-
and then we'll
Yeah.
rule on it in
So it's tabled.
January. So we'll table it for now.
Okay.
I recommend we table it for now. Okay,
Right.
all right?
Sounds good.
Why didn't you just say that? Just kidding. I'm making everybody mad tonight.
You
What's on the back of there? I saw. Wilson's the third best chief.
My friends. Who's the friends?
All right, any further discussion of item 50? Going to move on to 2025-51. Approval of regular scheduled monthly meeting calendar for for 2026. Can't talk.
Gentlemen, you've been provided a yearly schedule of something we started middle of last month or middle of last year, I guess, to publicize our year-long meeting schedule. And that's what I have before you. Just need you folks to make a motion to approve it so we can get it published for 2026. It was sent in your read ahead.
I think you should meet every week.
Yeah.
I think we should reject your letter requesting to leave civil service commission.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting schedule for 2026.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now,
Just
I
let them
lost
go
my
out
job.
quietly, are you, Steve?
Okay. Your next item, sir?
Yes, sir. Item 2025-52. Time frame for applicant to reapply after an online application rejection.
Okay.
Possible addendum to be presented.
Okay, we do not have an addendum at this time to present. This issue arose as a result of an applicant being rejected during the application process. As we said earlier, if the sheriff wants rejection to reject or have someone stricken, and it's upheld by you folks, then that person cannot reapply in accordance with our rules and regulations for 3 years, 36 months. So he asked me when, because he got a rejection, when can he reapply? I was not able to provide him a definitive answer because there's currently no provisions governing the reapplication eligibility for rejections during the application phase. And as the discussion evolves here, I would suggest you give consideration to a time frame and weigh the difference in the type of rejection. Example, if somebody just failed to provide us information from an inquiry that we made, I don't think that should carry the same time frame as what somebody that sold drugs at maybe 35 years or 30 years of age, or bought drugs at 30 years of age. I think there needs to be a weighting, but that's for your all's discussion. So, that's what that issue is about. And then what you all determine, we can come back next month with the addendum.
In regard to the first one you're talking about, who's asking when he can reapply, since there's no rule on it, I think the answer is anytime he wants to.
I agree. We don't have anything that tells him otherwise.
That's right.
And anything we decide tonight is not gonna be decided until January anyhow, so I think they have the right to reapply with any other time.
They might get the same rejection, depending upon the reason for the. Now,
Yeah,
you've got-
that's true.
Yeah.
If it's a minor thing like you said, and it's been a year,
Yeah.
and there's been no, and they say they dealt with that or whatever, then, probably won't get rejected the second time.
There are some things in the rules that have time limits built into them. Bankruptcy, isn't that 2 years, 5? There's a reference to marijuana,
12 months?
12 months. I mean, so that's a minimum, right?
Yes, 12 months would be the minimum. 5 years is the maximum of anything that we have.
Well, you can reapply, it's just not gonna do you any good to do it.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
that's
you've got
true.
those things in,
I mean, if you're trying to break it down, then the only way I would think of that you break it down there would be to say, okay, if it's for the marijuana portion, that's 1 year. If it's for the bankruptcy, that's 5 years. If it's simply they didn't return information, I'd say 1 year. All others, 3 years. Be the same as rejection if they reject it.
You didn't hit on that one yet.
Okay. I mean, that's just what my thought process, whatever you all think. What do you think?
so what are you saying would be 3 years?
Okay, let's do it. 1 year would be for the marijuana. 1 year would be for
An incomplete.
fail to respond.
Yeah, incomplete application.
5 years would be for the debt,
Bankruptcy.
because that's what's in our thing there. 3 years would be for everything else.
I think with the debt, it's got to be bankruptcy. That's what's clear. That's what's clear in the rule,
Okay,
not just debt.
so 5 years would be bankruptcy.
Right.
So if it was just standard debt, that would fall into the all other than 3 years. Or do you want to do?
Yeah, I think that could be a little harsh. I mean,
Okay.
take the case we just had.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that guy's working hard to clean up his act. If somebody can clean it up in a year,
So from our standpoint, if it makes it to them and they request it and we do it, then it's gonna be 3 years.
yeah, if it makes it to them and.
Anything other than
but
the,
as far as
the 5 years
reapply,
for the bankruptcy for reapplying, then we'll just do 1 year across the board? 1 year for a failure to respond, 1 year because of the marijuana, 1 year for all the others. So it'd be basically 1 year for everything except for bankruptcy.
Okay, so the question I have, when you say 1 year related to the marijuana as well,
Well, that's because the statute or our rules
Okay.
say 12 months.
okay, but is it 1 year because they can't have used it within 1 year?
Of the date of the application.
Okay,
Is it 1 year for
Yeah,
rejection
no.
or 1 year for use?
use, I thought it was use.
Yeah, so if it'd been 6 months, they'd be eligible in 6 months.
Yeah,
They could answer
True,
that question
that's true.
correct. So,
So when there's a rejection, we're gonna have to look at the rejection, the reason for the rejection
They used it in the last
And
12 months, that's how
respond
it
to it.
reads.
in the rejection letter.
and that's the thing, right now, if it's a rejection through them removing somebody, it's 1 year, or it's 3 years from the date we send them the letter.
Hold the hearing, yeah, hold the date of the hearing.
Yeah,
and see, yeah, I don't know that we need a date,
yeah.
because
I
I mean, you're gonna review the application on its face. If they can, in 6 months, answer the questions, like even a bankruptcy, if it was 4.5 years ago,
So just
6
say
months, it
it's
might be out of
rejection
it.
for this application process. If they hold that, if we hold another test in 3 months, they can reapply.
Yeah, I think we gotta look at the reason for the.
Well, we've got open application all the time, right? So they could, right now.
We do right now, yes.
The other thing is this, the more rule we have about it, the more rejections are out of hand, which might save us some work. On the other hand, you might be bumping out some candidates too.
I mean,
I mean,
probably, if it's just, we rejected you for this application process, you
Yeah,
can reapply at any time. And we just encourage them, you better be honest, because if
Yeah.
I find out
Oh,
you
yeah.
lied and we rejected you and you answered differently this time, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
problem.
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
And we had that with one of them.
yeah, we did.
What, different in the application, difference in the reporting?
Difference in the
I mean,
two applications.
two
Now, what I think it would be falsifying an application. Could be cause for,
Oh,
but
yeah, absolutely. And that's in the rules and regs, if you falsify the document with the application, yes. Okay, then we can just leave it as it is and just reapply the next time around.
I think so.
Okay.
Or
Okay,
as soon as you get cleared up, whatever the problem.
if if it's bankruptcy and we kick it back on you, that's a 5-year thing.
Yeah.
So if you resubmit, just remember, if
Right.
it's still within that time frame, we're gonna
Right.
reject you again.
Oh, okay. So let me ask this. You mentioned about the ongoing application process. Knowing we have potentially 47 people to take the test, I guess I would like to ask that we discontinue the online accepting continuing. And here's my reason why, and I want your input as well, Sheriff. My concern is we've been accepting applications since 1 October. I know we've lost some because it's taken too long. If we get 20 people, say we only get 20 people, and it's going to take a while to get through that list. They don't have a lot of vacancies left. You have 5 right now.
6.
Okay. And you're looking to hire 2, potentially.
Yeah, we have 2 that we're looking to hire. We just hired 2. We're looking to hire 2 more because we had the 5 vacancy. We got the 5 cops grant so that was 10. So we're sitting at 6 right now.
Okay.
What I'm being told. So that, but that's where we're at now.
Okay.
Well,
So,
Yeah, I could see closing it if you
For a
have
period.
enough in the bank.
Yes.
If you've got enough accepted applications in the queue that are recent enough, I could see closing it for a period of time until, you
Maybe
know,
30,
well, we know we
30,
got
40
five more,
days.
you know, we know we got five more openings coming up, so we need to reopen it, even though we don't have a test date scheduled, we don't have that. Because look how quickly we got that many applicants. So, I mean, but I think we need to have some kind of standard of, we need this many good, like within 60-day applicants in the queue accepted before we close it. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's 40, maybe the number's 40. I don't know what it is, but you know.
Okay, so after January 7th is when the applications are due. Can we close it for 30 days?
40, I mean, I would say make that decision at your January meeting.
just say,
When
why
you
not
see
close
how
it
many
until the
show
next
up.
meeting?
See how many show up out of those 47.
Close it on the closing date, close it, and then our meeting's the 20-something.
21st.
And then we could discuss it then, and if we want to close it longer, or if we want to open it back up, we could do it then.
Could you like close it and once you get that established list, then open it back up for the,
Yes, sir.
maybe
And that's
yeah.
what, that way we see how many people passed the test, how many's on that list, and things like that too. That kind of gives us an idea.
I mean, if you're in the middle of a process, you might as well close it. And then once you get that established list, then you could set a date to open it back up and start for the next one. Cause personally, I'd like to see it as at least do 4 hiring processes. We only did 2 last year, that from my recollection. And I'd like to have, typically there's 4 throughout the year that we were able to do just to keep up with retirements, resignations, potential discharges. So we're always doing a process to hire someone. So.
Do y'all maintain a like a chart or a spreadsheet of like potential retirements over like the next year, 2 years, 3 years? Who's going to be eligible?
I know I was told the other day there's coming up within this year, we'll have 16 eligible to retire. That's a lot. So that's why I want to make sure we're always, looking ahead to the next hiring process. I'm not saying 16 will retire, but
Right.
we'll have some retirements. So we want to always look forward to that and just never know.
Then I'll put that on the agenda as an issue item for next month.
Well, it's item number 7 on the agenda, items from the floor, and Tia Young is left. So,
Yeah.
Should be a short meeting now, right?
I'm beginning to wonder if I'm gonna get out of here before December 31st.
Chief, would you like to bring anything up?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Wow.
I'm happy with it all.
Sheriff, anything from the floor?
One thing.
Okay.
You all recognized Jason Wolf and his son, and Jason was in the office today, take care of a few things. He's been off since that happened, but I want to let you all know how well Andrew's doing.
Yeah.
He actually did 4 laps around the unit. Wow. Basically unassisted.
Yeah.
You're walking beside him.
Yeah.
And held a conversation with someone. He's still, it's going to be a long recovery, but
It's
today's
recovery.
today's 3 weeks from when he was
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
again,
Yeah.
it's miraculous.
Yeah.
And Jason wants to tell everyone who said a prayer for him to continue that. And I know he's going to appreciate your all's recognition, and I certainly appreciate it. But I just want to let you know that we're watching a modern day miracle in his recovery. And and then I wanted to also recognize you, sir. I mentioned it before. I wish someone from the DSA was here. to recognize you, but,
That's okay.
Yeah.
from the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office, I sincerely appreciate your service. I've known you for a long time. You're a man of integrity, and that's what's needed in those positions. Setting up there people with integrity that does the right thing, and I can certainly say that about you. You've done that, and I certainly
appreciate that.
appreciate that.
Appreciate that. It's been an honor to work with you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't you say anything, Wilson. So you smirking over there when he said integrity.
Okay, announcements.
Announcements. Next meeting will be Wednesday, January 21st, 5 p.m. Hopefully here in this, in the County Commission chambers. Second item for announcements is the election of president will be conducted during the January 21st meeting. I'll have the county clerk here to swear in the new president for the new term. And then last thing, just as a reminder, the open hire physical agility and written examination test will be giving Saturday, January 10th, 2026 at 9 a.m. at Martinsburg High School football field. So, and then the last thing I would like to add is kind of on a personal note, and it is also to you, Commissioner Dobson. It's been phenomenal to work with you. I came on when you were president, and that year working with you, there wasn't a time I called and said, hey, I need you to stop by the office and sign something that you weren't Johnny on the spot, and you came in. And again, I know I send you folks a lot of information. I know. I for any commander I ever worked for, I always told them, I will tell you more than you need to know. And that's what I try to do with you folks. I never want you to be blindsided, and you've been there for us. And the one thing that, Steve, that I really value and respect is you've always used the word fairness for the deputies and to be transparent. And I think that's huge. The deputies can come to really any of you three commissioners and talk to you about that. And you're open to listening to them. So again, sir, thank you. And we meet on the third Wednesday. Don't hesitate to come back.
I might come under item on the floor.
Sir, again,
I've appreciated the time, and I enjoyed every minute of this, and well, maybe not every minute, but most of the minutes. And
here we go.
I've enjoyed seeing us move things forward, and I know you guys will be successful. So appreciate it.
Sir, that's all I have.
Motion to recess.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 6:39.
Set a record on my last.
I tried to drag it out to 30 first.